Hi, my name is Danae. I'm an occupational therapist and ADHD coach, and I am here to make life easier if you have ADHD or executive functioning challenges. So today I want to talk about self-care with ADHD, and I'm not talking about massages. I'm talking about the care of your human body. And that things like hygiene or even taking care of our spaces can be really overwhelming and really tricky, and can cause so much shame for people, because when taking care of your body, when taking care of hygiene is hard, people are really harsh and judgmental towards themselves about that. It causes a lot of shame. What's true about shame is that you think you're the only person. And I will tell you, this is a really common struggle, not just for ADHD, for a lot of people who have other mental health challenges, right? That self-care can be sticky for lots of reasons, for really practical reasons. And Casey Davis talks about this in her book. She has a book, or several, but one of them is How to Keep House When Drowning. It's a great book. It's a very anti-shame book. Read it if you haven't, because it's a good resource. But she talks about how a lot of times hygiene in particular, and even like home care, or, laundry and cooking and taking care of our bodies, all this becomes something that people look at from like a moral lens. So if you have a hard time with this, people feel like they're not good people. They're not real adults. There's a lot of really heavy judgment. And she suggests a much more compassionate approach, which I'm a big fan of, and also like a practical approach. There's problem solving that makes a big difference here if we believe ourselves and just listen to what's hard and get creative about how we look at it. If you do struggle this way, compassion's key. Curiosity is next. We're going to look at what gets in your way, what we can do about it. Number one thing that I'm going to look at is executive functioning challenges. Your executive functioning skills are your get it done skills, and you need them for all the getting done. You need them for planning, prioritizing, remembering, building your habits. You need them all day long for executing anything you're doing. And some of the skills that are at play with self-care are prioritizing, decision-making, sequencing. Let's take showering and the gym. Let's say somebody who's going to the gym and they're doing the typical ADHD spiral where it's like, okay, I'm going to the gym, but I'm kind of sleepy and I want to shower to wake up. But if I shower to wake up, then I'm going to have to shower again after the gym. And maybe I should just shower after the gym, at the gym, and not waste my time coming back home. But that means I need to pack clothes right now, and I need to get that bag with the plastic lining. I don't know where that bag is, and a towel and my shampoo. And that sounds like a lot of work, but maybe I'll do a shower now with hair and then shower after the gym without hair, but come back to the house. But I need to plan for traffic at that time to get to work. And so you can see how this becomes a struggle with prioritization and sequencing. And what ends up happening, you're just like, yeah, I'm not gonna shower or go to the gym. I'm just gonna sleep another hour before work, because that struggle, you burn so much energy in trying to deliberate that way. Now, one thing that can help with that is habits. Habits are also tricky with ADHD. I'm really picky about what I make a habit because of this. I don't have tons of habits, but I have some that I really rely on. And so if something is a habit, then you circumvent all that spiral, and that's good. But most of us don't enjoy life if it's super, super habitual. Most people I work with, right? It's not going to be like morning to night structure. It's just not going to feel supportive. It's going to feel kind of oppressive. So using habits can also help with that too, help with the memory, help with the sequencing and prioritizing and that. But then, there's a limit to how many habits most of us are going to comfortably use in a day. Another executive functioning piece is organizing our spaces. Do you have what you need accessible to you to get this thing done? Right? Getting things organized and easy. Organizing is a system to be able to retrieve things quickly without a lot of thought. So for those people who have maybe a lot of clutter or chaos, or don't have homes for things, there's a lot more thought they're having to do to complete a self-care task than if they had kind of a well-organized environment that flows for what they want to do. Sensory issues. This is huge. Just a word about sensory struggles, like sensory processing issues. You don't have to have ADHD to have it. You don't have to have autism to have sensory issues. There is a correlation of ADHD and autism. A lot of people that have these diagnoses also experience a lot of sensory differences. And so that can really jam you up when it comes to hygiene and self-care tasks. So like toothpaste, the taste of it can be overwhelming to some people. Like cinnamon and mint might just not feel great to them. It might kind of burn. It might be overwhelming. I've had people that kind of couldn't handle the foaming of toothpaste. Like it just was really repulsive and felt really bad to them. Different textures, seams on socks, right? Seams on clothing, buttons on clothing. Things that bother them from a sensory level make extra layers in trying to take care of their bodies. So getting into a shower, right? Like the temperature, tolerating that temperature for some people is kind of like, can't stand being too cold, too hot, whatever. So there's a little bit of friction there. Smells, different smells can be intense for people. Looking at something like washing dishes and like little floaty particles of food, there's things that really bother people. Even like what silverware you use. I have a good spoon and I have a good mug. Like I have things that just feel just right to use. And the other thing, like these little creepy spoons that we have, I can't stand those. There's some things that just sensory-wise feel really good. On the flip, for somebody who has a lot of these struggles, this creates tons of friction if there are some sensory issues in self-care tasks that they want to do. You can problem solve that. The big piece here is when you do have differences like this, very often we just dismiss them and people just think, well, whatever, like that, I'm an adult and just to deal with it. If there is friction, think of it as like everybody gets 100 adulting dollars every day, right? If you have sensory onslaught while you're getting ready and that's hard for you, don't do anything about it, you're spending like 25 of your adult dollars getting ready in the morning, where somebody who's not dealing with that might spend 2. So you're going to be overdrawn. You're going to be done with your adult dollars a lot earlier. So believe yourself if this is hard, and you can problem solve it. Buy the kids toothpaste. Buy bubblegum toothpaste if that's better for you. Put a space heater in your bathroom if the thought of getting out of your shower and being cold is torturous for you. There are seamless clothing, seamless socks. You can wear gloves if you have to wash dishes and there's little floaty things. Like there are things that you can do that kind of respect a sensory difference so you're not having to spend too many of your adult dollars. Another thing that falls under this executive functioning umbrella is transitions. Transitions are just switching from one activity to another. These can be hard for folks who are neurodivergent, right? Moving from one thing to another. It doesn't mean it's impossible. It just means that costs you more of your adult dollars. When I was newly married, I would announce when I was taking a shower. I would be like, I'm going to go take a shower. And my husband would be like, okay, cool. Why are you telling me this? And it just, for me, saying it out loud just helped me with the transition. He didn't care if I was taking the shower or not, but it helped me be able to move and get going and initiate a task. So initiating and transitions can be hard for us. That includes with self-care tasks. We don't want to stop doing this fun thing and do this other thing, right? Making that a little bit external can help you too, to be able to transition and move between things, or kind of like smoother transitions. I have the double jump video where I talk about easing transitions when those hard, and I'll link that as well. But sometimes an easier way to ease into transitions can be helpful and make you not spend as much of your energy budget. Another thing that can really jam us up when it comes to this area, and it kind of goes hand in hand with the shame, is black and white thinking. Cognitive flexibility is an executive functioning skill. So being able to look at things different ways, being able to adjust when things aren't working. And so, for example, if you are not getting the thing done doing this way that's always been done, you can do it a different way. If you aren't somebody who's going to fold your clothes and you don't want wrinkled clothes, you can do like the camping roll, like roll them really quickly. It keeps wrinkles out. It's a quicker way to fold. Sometimes that little bit of friction makes a difference and can make it easier for you to do something. Like folding your clothes is one way to store clothes. You can hang everything up. You can buy a lot of fabric release spray. There's so many things that you can do that make it easier for you if you allow yourself to not just, I only do this thing this one way, it's the way it's done, and allow yourself to approach things from different angles. One example I have is somebody I work with who really struggled with dental hygiene. There were sensory issues, executive functioning issues. One of the things she found that just she would forget. It wasn't really a habit. She'd forget. She'd be downstairs and she'd want to go like back upstairs at that point. What we decided to do was just make a lot of stations for her to brush her teeth. If she a lot of times in the kitchen realized she hadn't, so we had a station for her to brush her teeth, the kitchen sink. That may not be as common. You may not see it all the time, but like, why not? Why wouldn't you do that if it could cause less friction? So she had that. She had something in the car, like disposable toothbrush and floss. Cognitive rigidity says, well, I shouldn't spend that on that. That's a waste, right? Cognitive rigidity says, well, like, that's ridiculous. I just need to have, like, who has a toothbrush in the kitchen? It needs to be in my bathroom. Being flexible with the way you think about this thing is a split the difference, right? If half the morning she's not really brushing her teeth, like something that helps that be more is progress. Moving yourself in that direction, creating other ways for getting things done if this is hard for you. If you met this person, you wouldn't know that she dealt with this issue. It took her a long time to talk to me about this issue. We live in a time where there's Febreze and there's dry shampoo and there's wrinkle release sprays. You don't know who's struggling with some of these things when you go in your day-to-day life. You'd be surprised how many people do and how much shame they feel and how isolating that is. And if they can allow themselves a different way to approach this problem, you can get real solutions that make this easier. This is not about being good or bad. This is not like the right way to be and the wrong way to be. This is not a moral issue. It's a function issue. right? We're just looking at this with some real practical problem solving and allowing you to do things differently because you deserve it. You deserve to feel confident. You deserve to be well taken care of. You deserve to have clean sheets and clean clothes and not have to spend lots of money at the dentist and not have pain, to have a body that's cared for and have the peace and the comfort and the confidence that comes with that. You deserve to have a space that you can operate in that isn't chaotic and overwhelming, that supports you. Tips for finding self-care, solutions that can work for you. Number one, believe yourself. Right? If something is hard for you, believe yourself it's hard. Like, you don't have to justify that. You want to get curious about it so you can see the ways it's hard, see what you can do to help and support yourself. But believe yourself, be curious, be flexible. Look at ways of doing this that aren't, what you might consider the right way. Like, pick the wrong way to do it. Mix it up, experiment, allow yourself to work with what is and give yourself tools that you need to get this done. Look at the point of action where you're doing the things that are hard and look at that environment and try to decide, are there things I can change here to make this easier for me to get it done? Is there a sensory need? Is there an environment need? Is there some friction here that's making this hard for me and I can remove that friction and make this easier? Last tip is self-compassion. Understand that you're not alone and you don't know who else is dealing with this, but I can tell you, I work with a lot of people with ADHD. A lot of people are dealing with it. So this is not just you. If it is you, it's not a moral failing. It's something you can approach strategically and work with the brain that you have to find tools and strategies that actually help you get this done because you deserve it. So thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time.